Real quick before we get into today's video, just want to thank the people over on Patreon who have taken the time out to help support the channel, and just got to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for your support. Once I start offering memberships and figure out what to offer for memberships on this channel, I'll start adding the names of YouTube members as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the review. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys a review for Boruto Chapter 52, and the Masashi Kishimoto era of the Boruto manga has begun. Up until this point, Kishimoto has only served as the editor and supervisor for the Boruto manga. However, now Kishimoto, with the removal of Ukyo Kodachi, the previous writer for the Boruto manga, with the removal of Kodachi, we now have Kishimoto taking over the story going forward. And I gotta say, when it comes to Naruto's fusion mode, I can't lie, man. Like, getting the full context via this chapter, this is a very impressive mode right here. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like last chapter Kurama said, like, if you use this power you're gonna die. And the first thing you see that Kishimoto does in this chapter is that Kishimoto builds in a small back door for Naruto. He builds in a small back door for Naruto. I'm not even giving a spoiler warning right now. Fuck it. He builds in a small back door for Naruto to say, like, hey, yeah, this new form you got, yeah, if you take too long fighting against Isshiki, this new form, this new energy that you and Kurama are creating, it can kill you. But if you can finish him off before that, there's a chance you're probably gonna live. And Kurama even has a line in there where he says, like, yeah, you know, we need to get this fight done before one of our lives or both of our lives in. So that right there is just like, okay, they built in a little bit of a plot point right there. It's like, okay, Naruto's safe. All the Naruto fans are on suicide watch. They have the ropes hanging somewhere. You guys can put the ropes back in the closet. Naruto is safe. You can grab your ramen bowls. Naruto is 100% safe, baby. So I gotta say this, man. You know, this new form, I was a little worried. I was a little worried because I was like, you know, Kishimoto's taking over the story, but Kishimoto is not doing the art. And, you know, I'm like, man, I'm not a huge fan of Ikimoto when it comes to the art. And I gotta say, one thing I've been screaming about for a long time is like, Ikimoto, slow down, live in the scene a little bit. Don't rush to the impact shots. That's one of the first things I noticed in this chapter right here, is the fact that there are actual anticipation shots that were being set up in a way to where the impact shots were actually landing home for you. And so you're already seeing some of Kishimoto's influence on the art. There was one very beautiful panel where the moment that Isshiki realizes that he's coughing up blood, the way that you actually see the reactions, where you got Isshiki on one side and then on the left side it just goes all the way down like a big old L pattern, where it's Isshiki's coughing the blood, Sasuke's looking, Naruto's looking. You get the close-up expression of Naruto as he's realizing that his plan's working, and then you get the expression right next to that to where Isshiki realizes that he's coughing up blood, and then you get that final shot of where Isshiki is beginning to fall to his knees because of the damage that has been done. That is hands down probably the best page of panels that Ikimoto has done since he's drawn the Boruto manga. That was very well done. That's the type of detail I keep telling you guys I wanted to see more of. Look at that panel right there. That's more of what I was saying I would like to see a little bit more there, with the expressions and just the setup before we actually get to it. And you actually see it there where he lived in the moment some. So I thought that was good. Again, you can see Kishimoto's influence. I know some of you guys have not read the Naruto manga. You've only watched the anime. I'm telling you, if you read the manga, you're gonna see more of what I'm talking about. So I like this little tidbit here. Now, what I will say is that I like how the chapter opens up and you got Naruto and he's staring down Isshiki. Ishiki's just freaking out and he's like, look, I don't understand this. How do you have something like this up his sleeve? Why wasn't he using something like this sooner? And even Sasuke's like, yo, this dude is such a dick, yo. Why didn't he use this transformation before? My man's seeing me, I'm out here, I'm running out of chakra, I'm getting slapped around all over the place, I'm getting disrespected in front of my adopted son Boruto, and this dude got a new transformation like this hidden up the sleeve somewhere. What the hell was this at? And I like how even Boruto's looking like, dad. Like, Boruto looks absolutely stunned. And you get this beast shot of where Naruto is looking at Isshiki, but out the corner of his eye, he's looking at his son too. That is so beautiful, man. That is so beautiful right there, because it's just showing you exactly how far Naruto is willing to go in order to bring down Isshiki. That is so beautiful. And I like how Kurama just gets into Professor Kurama mode, where Kurama's just like, look, you can look at this like it's just nuclear fusion. It's a similar principle to how the sun produces energy, and Naruto's like, nuclear fusion? What the hell is that stuff right there? Again, Naruto's a walking idiot. And so Kurama tells him that, look, you know, when it comes to chakra, you know, you can look at it like this, like my chakra and your chakra, they're coming together, it's forming a new type of chakra, but this new type of energy that we're creating is going to eventually consume our lifespans. And he says it's very important that you have a clear mind and that you just focus on the battle at hand. And what I like here is that really kind of highlights what you get with Japanese mythology, where you start talking about that level of enlightenment. And when you look at a lot of those martial arts series and just martial arts in general, there's a lot of emphasis being put on being able to be one with mind and body and spirit. And that's what you're seeing with Naruto, is that embodiment right there. And you get this really beautiful shot of where you got Naruto and he's beginning to walk towards Isshiki. Ishiki's continuing to just try and figure out what the hell's going on with Naruto, and Isshiki says, I don't like that look in your eye. Isshiki immediately just jumps forward, and you see all the speed lines that are drawn, and you see Naruto, to where Naruto, his eyes, they just all of a sudden squint, they look towards him, and it's in that moment that Naruto's already reacted, and he's landed an elbow to the back of Ishiki's neck. Now, this is where I'll say, when it comes to Ikimoto's art, this is a clear homage to Dragon Ball, whether it be the way that Isshiki is just kind of moving forward when he's lunging towards Naruto, the elbow to the back of the neck. That's one of those panels from Dragon Ball. Again, if you read the Dragon Ball manga and you look at it, you'll see where Ikimoto's kind of pulled some references from Dragon Ball. I've been told that he's pulled references from the JoJo manga, so I'll definitely say here that this was a nice little touch right here. I thought that this was a nice touch, and given the fact every time Naruto touches Isshiki, and anytime Naruto's chakra is touching Isshiki, it's going to be sapping away at Ishiki's chakra and his life force. This makes this new form deadly, because Naruto does not need to be more powerful than you in order to defeat you. Naruto already has an insane level of stamina, so at this point it's just a matter of who has the biggest pissing contest between the two of them. So I thought that that was cool. I thought that that was a cool little addition that you have at Naruto's form, because it makes you look at their battle when you reread the chapter. It makes you look at it a lot differently. It makes you realize why Naruto, if you look at the way that Naruto was fighting, Naruto wasn't doing just the same punch kick Rasengan. He wasn't even using actual chakra based attacks. Instead, Naruto is very strategically focusing on landing those blows that are going to be the heavy impact blows, because the harder he can hit them and the harder contact he can get, the more damage he can actually transfer to Ishiki's life force. This is very similar to what you saw with the Byakugan's way of fighting. So you have the strong fist style that Rock Lee and Might Guy fight with, where it's literally their way of fighting to break bones, and then you have the Byakugan, where the Byakugan's gentle fist is meant to target the actual insides. Think of Naruto's new fusion transformation as a fighting style that is going to be focusing on both elements. So he's focusing on dealing out heavy hitting blows to Isshiki, but he's simultaneously also targeting his life force directly. That is a very, very overpowered ability right there. That has the potential to be absolutely busted. Now I understand why Naruto has this huge condition on there. This is up there with the 8th gate, to where if you're tapping into this power, this is a power that is too broken to allow somebody to be able to use it. This, in my opinion, is why Naruto's new transformation is better than Goku's Master Ultra Instinct, because I feel like there's not enough of a trade-off for Goku to use Master Ultra Instinct, whereas when it comes to Naruto's new transformation comes with a high risk. So I like this little element right here, and I like how, you know, as Isshiki just hits the ground, Sasuke and Isshiki are both shocked, and you see Naruto begins to start lowering his arm, and in that time period Isshiki's already kind of lunging forward, and this is what I mean. You see good anticipation right here. Before Ikimoto would have just rushed to get you that shot where Naruto's just landing that huge backhand on Isshiki, but what you see in this one is that Isshiki's actually drawing their arm back in order to kind of grab at Naruto. Then you see the actual follow through. You see Naruto dodge. You see Isshiki begin to kind of turn around. You see him try to do the follow-up swipe. You see Naruto dodge again. You see Isshiki's expression to where Isshiki's saying, "Will you quit darting around?" And then that's when you get the impact shot where Naruto just backhands Isshiki and sends this dude flying backwards. That is good. That is good. That's what I mean when I say just live in the moment for a little bit and allow the scene to build up before you get to this big impact shot. This was good. This was good. I can definitely see that one of the things you're seeing in this chapter is the fact of the matter that Kishimoto, because he's doing the actual story for the Boruto manga right now, because his name is directly attached to this, Ikimoto's had to kind of step it up a little bit. I think that there's a lot more room for growth, but you definitely see improvements the same way that you see in some panels where the Japanese kanji is actually spreading across the page and it's not just limited to one actual panel box. Again, little small things like that, those are very nice touches right there. And what I like here is the fact that Isshiki, as he's wiping away the blood on his cheek, Sasuke is saying, wait a second, Naruto's not fighting even with them. Naruto's actually overpowering this guy. And you see it when Isshiki even tries to resort to his Dojutsu and he has all these giant cubes and they start coming down towards the ground. You get a really cool panel to where you see the chakra arms just start shooting up and you see those chakra arms / chakra tails. Naruto's holding up the cubes and Isshiki immediately looks completely shocked at this point. Sasuke's already realized what's going on. He gets Boruto the hell out of there, and before Sasuke and Boruto can even hit the ground, Naruto's already thrown those chakra cubes back at Isshiki. And this is what I mean, again, you see the slow build up towards these shots where Isshiki is jumping backwards to dodge the attack. Naruto has already jumped over Isshiki before Isshiki has even been able to realize what's happened, and so Naruto's already arced over Isshiki, and before Isshiki can turn around, Naruto is driving his leg down on Isshiki's shoulder blade to hammer this dude onto the ground. Very good. Again, this is what happens when you do anticipation before you get to impact shots. So I thought that that was a really nice touch. I like how even when Naruto lands on the ground and Isshiki's just charging forward, he's fighting in a more aggressive manner. But if you look at Naruto again, Naruto's pausing, and then as Isshiki gets forward, Naruto takes that elbow and he's meeting the guy, he dodges the next attack, and then in another Dragon Ball homage right there, you see it where Naruto just drives that fist right up into Isshiki's stomach. And what you're starting to see right here is that when Naruto's battling, he's doing so in a very strategic manner. Again, he's focusing on wearing down Isshiki's life force, but he's also focusing on hitting stuff like the kidneys and getting in those kidney shots, because those are the hardest hitting blows that you can give somebody. Instead of focusing on the face and the upper torso and everything, Naruto's going for the stuff that he knows is gonna do real damage to Isshiki, and so by doing that extra damage, he's able to kind of, in theory, cut down on his life force even more. And anybody that's boxed or anything, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that shots to the kidneys are the ones that absolutely mess your body up the most and actually cost you the match. So I thought that that was really cool, and I like how you get this really cool combo to where Naruto's punching Isshiki so hard that Ishiki's beginning to lift off the ground, and then Naruto raises that leg and just kicks Isshiki and sends Isshiki flying backwards. That's really cool. And then just to get even further into this, Naruto continues. He continues to be an absolute badass. And Isshiki gets desperate, and you just see the change in Isshiki's character. Before, my dude looked like he was just having fun in battle. My dude was cracking open a wine bottle. He was doing book club sessions and wine tastings and apologizing and literally walking on top of Naruto's rug without taking his shoes off. Isshiki was just mad disrespectful while also being the politest motherfucker that you've ever seen. And I like how he's fighting with a more aggressive stance. Think about it. We've never really seen Isshiki lunge this many times back to back to back in this desperate of a fashion, because this is the first time that this dude's felt real terror. And I like this. I like how, you know, again, because the scenes are not rushed in this chapter, Isshiki, when he puts his hand forward, you see the chakra rod starting to shoot out, and then you see Naruto as Naruto grabs the chakra rods before they even finish forming up to their full size. Sasuke's just completely shocked because Sasuke can barely keep up even with his Rinnegan, and you see it as the chakra rods have reached their full size that Naruto has grabbed them, and then Naruto has released them. Again, just slowing down the panels like this. Very good job by Ikimoto and Kishimoto on the supervision for this. Now, it's at this point what happens in the manga. At first, I wasn't too big of a fan of this when I actually saw it, which was the fact that you see Kawaki and Amato, they're talking, and Amato's like, yeah, you know, that arm that you have, it runs off a chakra. That's pretty damn lucky. You usually don't find an arm that is compatible like this. And that's when Katasuke explains, like, hey, this arm is actually something that belongs to Naruto. Naruto's continually feeding chakra to it. Amato says, well, isn't Naruto a generous person? Sumire says, well, you'll be able to fix his hand too at some point, won't you? And Amato says, like, yeah, you know, he's overdue for a checkup. Don't worry about it. I'll get him fixed up right away. And you get this moment to where all of a sudden Kawaki, he's looking down at the arm and he says, Naruto's chakra is weakening. And at this point, everybody's kind of on guard now. And that's when you get this beautiful transition. You get this beautiful transition to where Naruto, when you look at it, it looks like Naruto's standing completely straight up like he was earlier on. I don't think that many people caught this, but if you go back to just before they transition over to Kawaki, Naruto is standing completely upright. But when they transition back over to Naruto after Kawaki says that Naruto's chakra is weakening, if you look at how Naruto's drawn in a slight hunch. He's leaning forward towards the panel where you see his face and towards the panel where you actually see him drop down to his knees. And so that starts the process of Naruto leaning forward to fall to his knees. And you even have it where Naruto just lets out the grunt before he actually falls, and it's a nice touch to actually see the speed lines as he's falling, and you see that Naruto's fist is clenched because you can tell that Naruto's in a lot of pain. Sasuke and Isshiki are reacting, and then you just see it. You see it as Naruto's chakra cloak is continuing to kind of flutter out. This is good. This was a very good touch right here because you see the aura beginning to dissipate on Naruto, and that right there is letting you know that Naruto is starting to reach the end. It wasn't always flaring, but when Naruto was fighting, he didn't have an issue like this. So I like this right here. I like this little small touch right here. And the other thing on this is that I like how as Naruto is swearing and saying that the cost for this level of power is a lot steeper than what he thought, he says, I don't have much time. And you get this really good shot where Isshiki is kind of celebrating a little too soon. And he's saying, like, you took a gamble, you should have known better, looks like you lost your bet. And that's when Naruto has a real savage line. After Isshiki begins to start coughing up blood, Naruto has a line and he says, the real fight's gonna begin now. Let's see which one of us dies first. And what I like here is that Isshiki activates another one of his dojutsu with his eye, and he begins to start monitoring his actual life force, and he sees that flame, the flame of his vessel beginning to burn out. And it's in that time that Naruto is now on the offensive, because all those other times when you see Naruto versus Isshiki for the most part has been the initiator. Naruto knows now that, okay, I've got this dude on the ropes. He's just now realizing it's time to go for the end game now. And that's when Kurama says, like, look, this power is immense. It definitely exceeds his own. However, we won't be able to win against him because the drawbacks to his form is going to be too great. there's a good chance that either your life will end or my life will end first. And once this happens, the transformation is probably going to end. And what you end up getting here is that Kurama says, but that's okay. We don't need our transformation to last out longer than Isshiki's own stamina. The only thing we need to do is focus on you getting in as many blows as you can, because every blow that you land on him is gonna wear down his life force. And so now this is where all of a sudden Naruto, being so unpredictable and so unorthodox of a fighter, as well as being a trained fighter and not a savage like Isshiki, somebody who's just good at combat, this is where Naruto's ninja training is actually going to come in handy. And so what I like here is the fact that Naruto is just charging forward, and every time he's hitting this dude and every time he gets hit by Isshiki, that contact by itself is just wearing Isshiki's life force down. And I like how you get this really good shot to where, again, when Naruto is going after Isshiki, he's going for the body shots. He's going for body shots right there. So that was good. That was good. You get the occasional headbutt, but when Naruto gets that chance, he takes his foot and he drives it right into Isshiki's ribcage. That's a really good shot. And then when you get Naruto, he's getting on top of Isshiki, and as he's on top of him, he's beginning to try and choke this dude out. You just see it. Naruto realizes, like, time's running out. I can't get enough hits on you, so I'll just choke this dude. Like, you see the struggle right here. And this is a level of fight with Naruto we've not actually seen, to where he's that desperate in the fight that he's actually choking the guy out. The closest thing that we have to this would be when Naruto and Sasuke are fighting, I believe in chapter 696 or 695, where they're both so exhausted that they're swinging, and you see them down at the Valley Inn and they can barely form the Rasengan, and they can barely form the Chidori, and you get that little moment right there. I think that that's the closest we've seen to something like that with Naruto. And I gotta say, man, like when Isshiki gets Naruto on the ground, you see right then and there that just by touching Naruto and then Naruto touching Isshiki, that his lifespan is continuing to shrink. And Isshiki says, I need to get this vessel together. I gotta wrap this up now. And that's when Naruto's doing all that trash talking. Unfortunately for Naruto, that's when Isshiki realizes that Naruto's chakra prosthetic arm is connected to Kawaki, and so Isshiki uses Naruto's prosthetic arm as a way to teleport Kawaki over to him. And then once Kawaki gets there, that's when Isshiki says, that's okay, I've already got my vessel here. It looks like Isshiki Otsutsuki is the one who's going to be the victor, and it's because you were so arrogant that you gave Kawaki your arm. You can't protect them, you can't even protect yourself. And then that's when Boruto, who had already passed out, Boruto awakens his Dojutsu. So that's how the chapter ends off, with Boruto awakening his Dojutsu. Kawaki is finally here. Naruto and Sasuke are freaking out. This was a good chapter. This was a good chapter. You know, I've seen people say that they think that this chapter is longer than usual. This was a 44-page chapter, the same way that the last chapter was. It just felt longer because Ikimoto actually took his time and slowed down the scenes in this chapter. So my chapter question, I've got two chapter questions for you. Number one, what do you think about Boruto awakening a Dojutsu at the end of this chapter? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that this is the right moment, and do you think this could lead to Boruto getting that scar over his eye? Now, my second chapter question is, do you think that there was a good reason for building in this plot device to potentially keep Naruto alive? Because Naruto only dies once his lifespan and the Kyuubi's lifespan actually end by them running out of chakra in this form. So if Naruto cuts it off, theoretically, all Naruto's done is just limit his lifespan dramatically. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think that that cheapens this new transformation, or do you think that it does it justice? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.